What's a story, amigos? This is Kino with some cool stories for today's story time.
In our first story, read by Ellaraino, Tyree just doesn't want to go to bed. Mayim Bialik tells us about a cat who's lost something very important.
Is this my purr?
And about a family of bears and their uninvited guest.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bain, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television.
This is the place where everyone comes to read books. And she said we should make ourselves comfortable, so you know what that means in her terms? Find a good book to read. This one? Okay. Oh, do you know, I think I've heard about this book. It's about a little boy who wants to stay up all night until his father returns. Shall I read it?
Yes.
Okay. It's The First Pink Light, and it's by Eloise Greenfield, and it's illustrated by Jan Spivey-Gilchrist. Tyree leaned the last piece of cardboard against the leg of the chair and looked at it carefully to be sure it was standing just right. Then he crawled under the chair and he tried to look out. He couldn't see his mother doing her homework on the table, so he knew she couldn't see him. "Mama," he called, "you don't know where I am." "Where in the world are you?" his mother said. "Are you lost?" Tyree laughed. "No, I'm not lost," he said. "I'm inside my hiding place." "Oh, you are, huh?" his mother said. "Well, in just a minute, you have to come outside your hiding place. It's time for you to go to bed." Tyree laughed again, and he stuck his head out. "Mama," he said, "you forgot. Daddy's coming home. I can't go to bed." His mother put her pencil down, and she leaned her arm on the table. "Now, you know I didn't forget that, Tyree," she said. "Your daddy, he won't be home until early in the morning." Look at his mother. "Well, I know it," Tyree said, "but I want to surprise him. I have to stay in here." "All night long?" his mother said. "Yeah," Tyree said. He saw the no look on his mother's face. So he said it again. "Yeah, Mama, I won't get sleepy." "No, Tyree, you have to go to bed," his mother said. "Now, your daddy'll wake you up when he gets here." "I don't want him to wake me up," Tyree yelled. His mother didn't understand. His daddy had been away taking care of Grandma for a whole month. And now that Grandma was better, he could come back home. Tyree wanted to hear his daddy's car door slam, and hear his daddy's hard shoes on the steps, and hear his daddy's key clicking in the door. He didn't want his daddy to wake him up. Well, he crawled out of his hiding place, and a piece of cardboard fell down. His mother was making him mad, and she was making him break up his hiding place, too. He sat down hard on the floor. "I don't want to go to bed," he yelled. I have to wait for Daddy." His mother got up from the table, and she came over and she knelt beside him. She stood the cardboard up again, and then she put her arm around him. "Now listen, Ty," she said. Tyree knew he had won then. He always won when she said, "Now listen, Ty," in a soft voice like that. He stopped looking mad, and he made his face look real sad. His mother looked at him hard. Then she looked at him soft, and she said, "Okay, I'll make a deal with you. If you put on your pajamas and you sit in the big chair, you can stay up. Then when it's almost time for Daddy, you can hide." Doesn't he have a sweet-looking mother? What a great face. Now look at this. Tyree looked at his hiding place. "I won't know when it's almost time," he said. "Yes, you will," his mother said. And she took both his hands and she pulled him up. "Now you come on over to the window and I'll show you. Now look at the sky, right there, right over Mr. Walker's house. What do you see?" Tyree cupped his hands around his face so he could see better. "Nothing," he said, "just dark." "Well, when it's almost time, you'll see something else," his mother said. "Because every morning, just before the sun comes out, it sends a pink light out first, so that you can watch it right here. And when you see that first pink light, it'll be time to hide, okay?" Tyree thought for a minute. "Okay," he said. "That's okay." And then his mother leaned over and she pointed to her cheek. And he gave her a loud kiss. Then he ran to his room and he put on his pajamas fast and he came back and he jumped into the big chair. "Why don't you get your pillow?" his mother said, "so your head won't get tired." Tyree got his pillow and he put it behind him in the chair. Then his mother said, "I bet your blanket would feel pretty good right now." Well, he got his blanket and he wrapped up in it, and it did feel good. His mother was right. He looked over at her. She was at the table, and she was frowning. But he knew it wasn't about him. It was the homework. He had won. His mother wasn't mad. He looked out at the sky over Mr. Walker's house. As soon as he saw the first pink light, he would get inside his hiding place, and when he heard the key in the door, he would call his daddy and keep calling him, and his daddy would follow his voice and find him. Tyree laughed, thinking about how he would jump out into his daddy's arms. He leaned his head back on the pillow, and he stared at the sky for a long time. And the pillow got softer, and the blanket got warmer. And just before he felt his eyes close, he knew his mother had won. But he was too sleepy to care. He smiled in his sleep. Look at that smile. Tyree didn't wake up when the sun stretched its first pink light across the sky. And he didn't hear the key clicking in the door, or see the man with the strong brown face when he stood beside him and looked at him for a long, long time. He didn't wake up until he felt a big hand on his arm. And even then, he didn't wake all the way up. All the time, he was reaching out to hug his daddy, and his daddy was holding him real close and carrying him to bed. All the whole time, he was wishing his daddy would never, ever have to go away again. Tyree never opened his eyes. Oh, Jenna, that was a great story, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, it was wonderful. Do you remember what the pink light is?
Yes.
What?
The first light that comes out from the sun.
Exactly right. That's exactly what it is. Boy, this is a nice book. Look at this picture.
Hi!
Mara!
Ellaraino! How are you?
Wonderful.
This must be your friend Jenna.
Yes, it is.
Hi, Jenna. How you doing?
Good.
Well,
Kino?
Well, we were having a great time, and we were just talking about the book that we read.
Oh, good. You found a book you liked.
Well, Jenna found the book.
You found this book?
Everybody, come on, right this way.
What?
Come on in, everybody. Oh, I love it when we come in. Come on, everybody. Boy, you know, Mara loves it when I bring all my pals over to hear stories. Where are you, Mara? Mara!
I'm over here, Kino, with Ellaraino and Jenna. Come on.
We're here. We're ready for action. Come on over so we can start this story fiesta.
Oh, Kino, I'm sorry to tell you, excuse me, I'm sorry to tell you that the story fiesta started without you.
Oh, no.
Oh.
It already started.
Well,
Oh, no, that's terrible. You mean you've already read some of the stories?
well, you only missed one. Of course, you wouldn't have missed it if you had been here on time like you said you would be, but oh well. By the way, would you like to tell us why you were late?
Oh, well, yes, I have no secrets. My life is an open book.
Yeah.
You see, it was, all right, yeah, okay. It was, you see, I was,
Where were
okay,
you,
okay,
Kino? Where?
All right, enough already. Enough. You see, my mom made me take a nap. Yeah, she made me take a nap because I'd stayed up so late last night, reading stories. Yeah, that's right, reading stories.
Come on in, have a seat.
Oh, hi, Maya.
Oh, you were reading?
Hi, Maya. Yeah, and I overslept from my nap, see?
Oh.
Not that it's anybody's beeswax, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's no need to worry, Kino, because Mayim has brought two of her favorite books, which I'm sure will please your demanding taste.
Oh, which ones, Maya? Demanding taste.
Yeah.
I really like that, demanding taste. Which books did you bring, Maya?
Did I hear you say you overslept, Kino?
Sheesh. Oh, boy. When will there be an end to this roasting? Anyway, yes, I overslept. It's no big news. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Why do you ask?
Well, I think you'll find one of these stories that I brought very, 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 very interesting. It has to do with someone oversleeping.
Ah, está bien. Let's hear it.
Well, in due time. First, I'm going to read The Cat Who Lost His Purr, written and illustrated by Michelle Coxon.
I like this book.
It's a very good book. Okay. Boodle woke one morning without his purr. His house was quiet and empty. Where is my purr? Wondered Boodle, who was normally happy and contented. He washed and thought hard. When did I have it last? But like all cats, he was not very good at remembering yesterday. He didn't know about things like tomorrow or the names of the days of the week, or even that the world was round. To him, it was flat, and today, it was purrless. The things he knew were useful, like if it was a wet fur day or a dry fur day, or what time his tins were opened, and when his milk was poured. I will go and find my purr, decided Boodle, and he set off. Boodle started by looking in the bathroom. Drip, 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 drop, went the tap. Is this my purr? No, the wet drip sound was not his purr. Is my purr down here? No, it was not in the place where his unfurry friends sometimes sat, you see? Boodle heard a sound very much like his purr. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Is this my purr? No, it was just a fly, so he ate it. Where did that noise go, wondered Boodle, licking his lips. He went downstairs to the kitchen, where there were lots of interesting sounds. The fridge hummed softly, and it smelt good. Boodle was a clever cat. He knew how to open the fridge and look inside. Is my purr here? No, not even inside the sausages, thought Boodle, feeling rather full. Look at him making a mess. There was a sound from under the cupboard. Scratch, 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 squeak. That sound could be my purr, but the scratch and squeak ran away from his fine, sharp claws. Look at that. A pleasant came from the clock. Could that be my purr, he wondered? Boodle climbed up, but a yellow bird knocked him down with a loud cuckoo. Meow, yelled Boodle. Look at him. In the laundry room, the washing monster made lots of loud, wet, gurgling noises. Swish, swish, swash. Is my purr having a wash? Boodle thought a cat thought, which isn't very long, and looked until his whiskers felt dizzy. No, my purr is not there. It hates getting wet. In the sitting room, the fish blew bubbles at him from their watery world. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Boodle didn't like getting his paws wet either, so he could not find out if the fish had his purr. He turned away sadly. My purr must be outside in the sunshine. It loves the warm sun, thought Boodle. But he had to chase away some naughty birds who were stealing his milk. Crash! He broke a bottle. A thrush looked as if it might be banging his poor purr on a stone. Crack, crack, crack. Boodle rushed to the rescue, but it was only an unhappy snail which crawled away without even saying thank you. You know, cats appreciate good manners. Snails are always miserable, and they never smile. I've never seen a snail smile.
I didn't even know they had lips.
Boodle went back to the house in a down-tail mood. Cats don't cry, because that makes them wet. Poor me, sighed Boodle. He had a drink of milk to help him think, and licked all the chocolate off some biscuits, just for comfort. And then he heard a sound. Lots of sounds coming into the house. Voices of his two-legged, unfurry friends. My openers of cans. My pourers of cream. My strokers of fur. They were home, and they had found his purr. He purred with joy.
Wow.
At last, his life, which to a cat means today, was perfect. He was the most contented cat in the whole flat garden of his world, and would be until the end of his whiskers. And now, his tale is told.
That was great,
Isn't a nice book?
Oh, I love that story.
You know, they say that the world is divided into two kinds of people, cat lovers and dog lovers. What kind are you?
Dog.
Dog?
Yes.
Anybody? Cat? Both. There's a few boths. For all you cat lovers, can somebody tell me something really special about cats? Melissa?
They're soft.
They're very soft. Anybody else? Yeah?
They have a very nice purr.
They do. As we saw, Boodle had a nice purr, too. Yeah?
Some of them have marble eyes.
I was just thinking that. They have
They have
great
very
eyes.
pretty eyes. Well, I know that a long time ago in Egypt, cats were said to be gods, and they were treated with a lot of respect, really special.
Yeah, you know, Mayim, the cat in that story was kind of a troublemaker. Plus, I think he was maybe just a little bit dense. Losing his purr, oh, brother.
Yeah, but if you notice, it was the little boy who brings the purr back to the cat, because as we learned, cats purr when they're really happy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I think somebody ought to start a collection of these books. You know, the cat that lost his purr, the dog that lost his bark, the fish that lost his scales. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, Toby. Yes.
The horse who lost his
The
tail.
horse that lost his tail. That's a good one. How about you,
The
Melissa?
lamb who lost its maw.
The lamb who lost his ma or his ba? Anyone else?
Hey, I've got one. How about the bears who lost their porridge? You know, because that's what our next story is about. Does anybody know which story I'm talking about?
The three bears of Goldilocks.
Very good. That's Goldilocks and the Three Bears, retold and illustrated by Jan Brett. This is one of my personal favorites. And this is the one I was telling you about, Kino. It has someone oversleeping.
Oh, brother, I can't wait.
Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great, huge bear. They each had a bowl for their porridge. A little bowl for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized bowl for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge bowl for the great huge bear. And they each also had a chair to sit in. A little chair for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized chair for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge chair for the great huge bear. And they each had a bed to sleep in. A little bed for the little small wee bear, middle-sized bed for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge bed for the great huge bear. One day, after they had made their porridge for breakfast and poured it into their porridge bowls, they walked out into the woods while the porridge was cooling. While they were walking, a little girl named Goldilocks came to their house. First, she looked in at the window. Then she peeped in at the keyhole, and seeing that no one was home, she lifted the latch. The door opened before her, and in she went. How pleased Goldilocks was when she saw the steaming porridge on the table. The sweet smell of the porridge with roasted nuts, honey, and berries filled the room. It was so tempting that Goldilocks set about helping herself. First, she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, but it was too hot. Then she tasted the porridge of the middle-sized bear, but it was too cold. And then she tried the porridge of the little small wee bear, and it was neither too hot nor too cold. It was just right. She liked it so much that she ate it all up. She was hungry. Then Goldilocks sat down in the chair of the great huge bear, but it was too hard for her. Then she sat down in the chair of the middle-sized bear, but it was too soft for her. And then she sat down in the chair of the little small wee bear. And this chair was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. So Goldilocks seated herself in it, and there she sat, until the bottom of the chair gave way, and down she came plump upon the floor. Then Goldilocks went upstairs to the bedroom in which the three bears slept. First, she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear, but that was too high at the head for her. Next, she lay down upon the bed of the middle-sized bear, but that was too high at the foot for her. Then she lay down upon the bed of the little small wee bear, and that was neither too high at the head nor foot, but just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and fell fast asleep. By this time, the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough to eat, so they returned home for breakfast. Now, Goldilocks had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in his porridge. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And when the middle-sized bear looked at hers, she saw that the spoon was standing in it too. "Someone has been at my porridge," said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. Then the little small wee bear looked at his bowl, and the spoon was in the porridge bowl, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up little small wee bear's breakfast, began to look about them. Now, Goldilocks had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great huge bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And Goldilocks had crumpled the soft cushion of the middle-sized bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. And you know what Goldilocks had done to that third chair. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sat the bottom right out of it," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Then the bears thought it necessary that they should make a further search, so they went upstairs to their bedroom. Now, Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great huge bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And Goldilocks had pulled the cover of the middle-sized bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. And then the little small wee bear came to look at his bed, and there was Goldilocks, sleeping peacefully, her long, shiny braids spread across the pillow. Little small wee bear just stared at her for a moment and didn't say anything. But then he cried, "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and there she is!" Goldilocks had heard in her sleep the great rough, gruff voice of the great huge bear and the middle voice of the middle-sized bear, but it was only as if she heard somebody speaking in a dream. But then she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear. It was so sharp and so shrill and so like her own that it awakened her at once. Up she started, and then she saw the 3 bears on one side of the bed, and so she tumbled herself off the other and ran to the window. Out Goldilocks jumped and ran away as fast as she could run, not looking behind her until she was very, very far away. And what happened to Goldilocks afterwards, no one can tell. But the 3 bears never saw anything more of her.
Oh, I don't know about this story.
What don't you know, Kino?
Well, first, why did she go into the bear's house?
What do you guys think?
Question.
Why do you think that Goldilocks went into the bears' house and ate their porridge?
Yeah.
Toby?
Because no one wasn't there.
That's right, nobody was there. Stacy?
Maybe she was hungry and tired.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, why would the bears let her go? I mean, if I got home and somebody had eaten my supper, well, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah, but the bears didn't do anything.
I still don't know about that Goldilocks, taking the bear's breakfast.
Well, I bet she won't be doing that again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure she was really scared of those bears when she saw them. Oh, well, now it's time for us to make our story picks of the day.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I got some of my favorites right here.
Oh, yes, I got them.
Yeah. This first one, see that first one there? Yeah, that's a favorite of mine. It's kind of crazy, but I really like it. You know what it's called? Get this, everybody. It's called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Oh, man.
Well, I would like to recommend another bear book, and it's called The Biggest Bear, and it's about a little boy that has a bear for a friend. Oh, well, will you please come see me again so we can all enjoy some more stories together? I'm going to be thinking about you. Until then, keep a story in your heart.
See you
Bye-bye.
later, alligators.
Today's Storytime books are First Pink Light, The Cat Who Lost His Purr, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and The Biggest Bear. You can find these and other books at your local library.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bain, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television. Storytime is a production of KCET Los Angeles.